170 countries, from the streets of Tokyo to Paris to Berlin, maybe even London, New York, LA. Anywhere you look, you're going to see a Toyota. So Toyota is just one of those brands that everybody recognizes. They're in 170 countries, and what I wanted to do today was just concentrate on their luxurious crossover SUV. It's a topic that's dear to my heart because I have one. But in 2011, the reason that we have them in so many countries, everybody recognizes Toyota. They manufacture 7 million vehicles, and they also sold 7 million vehicles. So they are absolutely everywhere. In the US, they have a 14% market share. So 14% of the cars that are on the road in America are a Toyota. And in Japan, 47% of the cars are a Toyota. So wow. What makes this car so ubiquitous? What makes the company so special? So it's really what I wanted to touch on today with us. And really just wanted to let you know, we have to drive. We live in the suburbs. So if you're anything like me, you might take the train to Philly or you might take the train to New York, look up on Google Maps how to get to a bar or a museum or wherever you want to go, and you use that little button that says public transportation. The next time you want to drive somewhere, it's still set to public transportation, and you type in the address to your friend's house, and it tells you it's going to take you 4.5 hours to get there when you thought it was going to be 10 minutes. Well, it's because you set it to public transportation, and we wanted to drive because we don't have the ability in this area to really get anywhere quickly and efficiently without a vehicle. So it's such an important decision for us to make, and you really do hold the choice in your hands. So there's a lot of different features that we have to choose from. We've got hundreds of different cars, models, makes, brands. So what goes into our choices? The aesthetics, the functionality, the gas mileage, the safety features are all important factors in our decision that we make. But in the end, it's your decision. So I just wanted to give a special thank you to my interview sources. We had Sales Associate Stewart from Team Toyota in Langhorne, and Jesse from Faulkner Toyota in Trevose. So today we're just going to go over some of the aesthetics and luxury features that the Venza has to offer the customer, safety and utility features as well, and we're also going to talk about a little bit of Toyota's culture, Kaizen and their social responsibility, which is a huge piece of what they do and how they make their vehicles. So for as far as the aesthetics and luxury features go, we see here that the Venza has a very sleek design. When I spoke with Stuart, he basically told me that the Venza is actually on the Camry platform. That's why it's a crossover, because it's on the platform of a sedan, very well loved, very well known, popular sedan in America. So it handles like a car, but it is spacious, roomy, sleek for an SUV. And it's targeted toward the luxury market, as Jesse from Faulkner Toyota told me. So we're a little bit later, we want to go into these. So the JBL Synthesis surround sound, it's got 13 speakers and a subwoofer. So whether you're jamming out to country or rock and roll or rap, maybe some Celine Dion, whatever you like to listen to, you're going to look awesome rolling around in the Venza with the sound system that it offers us. So another great feature that it's got is the cargo space. So in order to put down the seats in a lot of cars, you kind of have to climb in, you pull the lever, and then the seat falls on you while you're in the seat, and then you have to jump out to get everything flat. In the Venza, there are actually a couple of handles. If you open up the trunk, which opens up by itself if you hold it, there's a little button when you want the trunk to go down. But there are handles on either side of the trunk in the back of the car, so you don't have to climb in. You can pull the levers, and the seats just fall back on their own. Provides you with 70.2 cubic feet of cargo space, which is significantly more than the Ford Edge's 68.9 cubic feet, so direct competition. It's got dual side air conditioning, which means if you're somebody who likes to be freezing in the car, but then your friend or your significant other, whoever's in the car with you, is the complete opposite, they like it when it's warm, you can both have your way. Just face your air conditioning vents towards yourself and the other ones towards your friend. It's a really fantastic feature. Hillside Assist Control. So this is a great feature that it offers. So what happens is, a lot of the times if we stop at a red light, it might be on an incline or a steep hill, when we have to go ahead and move our foot from the brake to the gas, our car's going to roll backwards a little. And if the person who was behind us was just a little bit too close, because I know we're all Jersey drivers or Pennsylvania drivers here, it happened, you're going to roll back and hit that person. So it's not something that you want to have to worry about. So that's what the hillside assist control is for. It actually holds down the brakes for 3 seconds while you put your foot from the brake to the gas so that you don't have to worry about that problem. Automatic high beams are also a great one. If you're anything like me, you turn on your high beams when there are no cars around and you completely forget that they're on and you blind people that are on the other side of the road driving until someone starts flashing their lights at you and you remember, oh man, I did this a couple minutes ago. So what it does is if you have the car high beams on automatic, it'll sense a car that's driving towards you from up to 2,000 feet away. So really, car's coming, it's going to automatically turn off, and when the car passes you, there's no one else on the road, they're going to turn back on again. As far as the safety and utility goes, of course the high beams are a great safety feature. You don't want to blind the people that are in front of you. You want to make sure that you're able to see, and it's also a luxurious feature. Something else we've got as far as utility may go is heated front seats. So same thing, we've got the dual climate control. Heated front seats, you can also choose whatever you want. So a lot of cars, they have those options where you either choose heat level 1, 2, or 3. But it's actually on a roller. So whatever temperature you want, you can choose a gradient in between those 3 steps. Got a rear air conditioning vent. So if your passengers are in the back, someone's complaining about how it's hot outside and hot inside, they can change the temperature and get air conditioning or heating in the back so that the people are not uncomfortable. There's also a front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive option, which is something that both Jesse and Stuart brought up when I asked them, how is Venza separate from the competition? It has both options. They told me that the gas mileage is 20 city, 26 highway, so it's very fuel efficient for having the all-wheel drive option. And another amazing feature that a lot of the competition does not have right now is knee airbags. So a great safety feature to have. It's something that we don't usually think about. We think you want to protect your head. That's the first thing we think of, your neck, your back. But what about your knees? Our knees are so important. If you hurt your knees in a car accident, that's something that could disable you for life. So our legs take a lot of the stress from a car accident. So this is really going to help to cushion that fall, really. So let's take a step back. We talked about Toyota. We talked about the safety features, we talked about the luxury features, but let's take a look at the company. So Toyota actually practices Kaizen. It literally means in Japanese, Kai is change, Zen is good. So really what they are talking about is incremental and continuous improvement. And sometimes it's a very rigorous business practice. It can be frustrating. They actually leveraged it very well in 2010 during the recall, when they had to recall 8 million vehicles off the road. We might remember when the accelerators were sticking. So what they did was they took a look at their processes, they took a look at how they were manufacturing, and saw what needed to be redone in order to make that incremental and continuous improvement. Another great use they have of the Anden cord is, the Anden cord is a great use of Kaizen. So what they do is they'll have assembly line people standing in the manufacturing warehouses, and each person does their own part, they assemble their own piece, and if they see that there's a defect somewhere or something just doesn't seem right, they're actually encouraged to pull the cord. It stops, it freezes the production line, and it calls a manager over automatically to see what the issue is and solve it before we move on and have something that could potentially be faulty and cause an accident in a car. So they're very, very concerned about safety features, of course, when they're making this, and they really want to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the customer to make sure you're comfortable and safe, and as far as the Venza goes, you have a luxurious ride. So let's not forget, they've got a great culture, they really care about the customer, and something else that they do as far as corporate social responsibility goes is they work with Philabundance. So every year what they do is they collect food In 2012 alone, in just 1 month of December, they collected 22,000 pounds of food, so 70,000 meals for the hungry in Philadelphia. They loaded it in the back of their Tundra trucks and drove around the city to donate it. So they also do their part in the community. So we talked a little bit about the Venza today. Great safety features, aesthetically pleasing. It has a sleek body. It's on a sedan chassis, so it handles very, very well around curves. It doesn't weigh too much. They're very concerned about the safety features. We want to make sure that the customer is pleased with what they're getting. And it's just overall a beautiful car. Does anyone have any questions?